So once again, I welcome all the members who had come here for the session. And first of all, I would like to give a brief introduction of mechanical charter and the responsibilities of chartered engineer and the process. Yeah. Thereafter, the Secretariat will be giving more details on the submissions and the documentation that you have to follow. And finally, we will have question and answer session where you can raise your questions and get whatever things clarified. I think online members can hear us.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Thank you. So we will go to the So basically in Sri Lanka, if you take, we have 7 engineering practitioners. So as per the ECSL, Engineering Council of Sri Lanka, only 6 were there. But recently IESL adopted engineering technologies. That's why I had used a different color for that one, where this this change need to be incorporated into the Engineering Council Act. So these are the basic categories. So you can see the chartered engineer sit on the top, right? So to sit on the top, he need certain qualities. So we will go here. The basic understanding why industry need chartered engineer. Chartered engineer is the one who capable of assuming personal, professional responsibilities for the analysis and application of engineering principle in fundamental process of investigation, planning, design, construction, operation, maintenance, and management, and development of engineering works, right? So you can see the depth he has to cover, right? He has to identify the solutions for the problem, management and direction of high risk and resource intensive project, right? So this is where we tell we have a process to identify whether the chartered engineer is capable of doing that one. So chartered engineer, you can see the responsibilities that lies with him. He's able to communicate his idea clearly, concisely, and intelligibly to others. His work require exercise of original thoughts and judgment, right? He should not copy from anybody. So his original thoughts need to become, right? So you can see why it is very important for us to have this qualification or the competencies built for chartered engineer, so that he takes the decision regarding the all the development process and activities. So that's why we have kept the chartered engineer in the top of the ladder, where he would be fully qualified to do all this work. So competencies required to become chartered engineer. So I had used this one from IESL, our guidelines. So basically, in this charter process, we look at 5 key competencies of engineer. First one, understanding the engineering principles, right? So we check during our evaluation process, even with the mechanical design or whatever, whether you understand the engineering principle correctly. And second one, practical application of engineering knowledge, right? So there we check whether the knowledge you understood are properly put onto the practices, right? Then the managerial involvement, right? So how you manage your tasks with, on your project management and all the skills we are looking at. Then the interpersonal skills. So how you communicate with your peers and your seniors, and all these things would be required to become a chartered engineer. So if I go back to the previous slide, you can remember right here, you need to have good communication skill, you need to have good problem solving skill. So these skills are summarized here, I could say, right? So we are looking at those skills. Finally the professional conduct, right? So the B paper is there for you, for us to teach you on code of ethics, and whether you are updated in your engineering practices, in the what's happening in the country, what's happening globally, and your commitment to the environment. So many people think, okay, B paper is just to check English. No, right? B paper is you know complete comprehensive look of how you follow your ethics, how you need to develop your ethics in the industry. So when you're working in places, how you manage those things, and then your commitment to environment, your commitment to safety, and understanding the current context, and your commitment as an engineer in society, right? So those are very important. Many people think, okay, uh, I'm working in my workplace, but you represent the society as an engineer. So when you go to the society, you need to show the differentiation between engineer and the other people, right? So when you go there, that skill should be there. So we look at all these competencies during the charter process. So it will be done on paper base and interview, and also the exams and other processes, right? This is not only for mechanical engineering, so it is available for all engineering practicing areas. These competencies are common. Then the recognized training, right? So this is very important area, right? So we require any associate engineer who pass out from university to have recognized training. It is, you can see here, uh, you can see here that he should go through a structured training program conducted by training division of an organization. So they have very structured program. They will teach you from certain beginning steps to a very depth analysis, or you should train under chartered engineer, practicing engineer or chartered engineer, right? So you can see that part is very important. Uh, okay. Okay. So you can see the requirement that we require on this one. So the training, you can get it in many organizations. So we here trying to see to establish, rather than going on recognizing workplaces whether you have the competencies. That part we are trying to implement, but until that come to the into the PR rules book, we have to follow this one. So basic requirement is as you had previously see, we need to see whether you acquire these competencies, right? So uh, whether in a different workplace, if you acquire the same thing, we should be able to recognize you, right? So our system should be developed in such a way that we will able to understand through the assessment and the design reports and other thing whether you had acquired these competencies, right? So this is the training requirement. So I think our Secretariat will describe this one more on this area, what the recognized training means. Then the responsible experience, right? Responsible experience is experience gained in a responsible position. Sometimes you pass out from university and you work on a managerial position. You work on non-engineering position. So those experience we don't count here. That's the main thing. So we are looking at whether you are capable of delivering or having experience on engineering background. So that's very important. So that's a main requirement behind it. So we will share some of the reports so you can have some understanding on the matter. So other part is these are the basic assessment requirement we have under mechanical charter, right? This is common for the one, right? So first one is a design report. So you need to submit a design report based on your work exposure, a comprehensive report to demonstrate the two skill I had mentioned initially, uh, understanding of engineering principle and practical application of that engineering principle. So that we assess through the design report. So there we can see how you had used their theories and your knowledge on the theoretical background on that one. Then the career report to see whether you got the experience and the previous two areas, responsible experience and recognized training, right? So there we see at the beginning whether you got industrial training as undergraduate, and there after graduation, what are your training programs and how you acquire the necessary skills where you work under seniors and get necessary training for that one, right? Then finally the training log, right? So every engineer go through going through his career. So he come across many engineering problems during his work at office. So many engineering problems, the solution, and also procurement and many things comes on their way. So training log is to record those things so that we can review that you had gone through the necessary exposure in the area where you need to log your training exposure, and it need to be certified by a chartered engineer who will be on your office uh, place, or the person known to you, known your training experience there has to certify that one. So that's a requirement we need there. Then the CPD record and B paper, you need to pass your B paper, right? So if I concise, so these are the basic documentation that require you to apply for charter. So we will go one by one, right? So mechanical design. So basically, if I go into the mechanical design, we had come across many mechanical design, myself and Parakrama sir, and many of us come across many reports submitted. So they are the people just write the report, uh, not looking at the real content. So you have to see what we are looking at competency. So main requirement is to see whether you had learned your theories well, whether you had applied those theories in practical situation. So it demonstrates your knowledge, right? So if you so most of the report having very brief, they don't have any definition how he was he required to go into that design. So what was the need for it, right? So those part need to be properly addressed. So that's why I will go here in few slides what need to be covered under design, right? So generally engineering design is a creative process, right? So you need to identify need. Maybe in your workplace there can be a problem where you might have brought a brand new equipment. It might not serving your purpose because it was designed for a different environment, right? So there's need for be a need to adjust it. For example, I could say you might have brought a conveyor. You might have brought sometime air conditioner, right? So sometime it is not meeting the requirement. It might be oversized, maybe over speed on the conveyor, right? So there, your people will not be able to work with that one due to the original some sort of a mistake, right? So it might be from somebody, most of the places your boss go there and place order, right? Finally, equipment arrive, it doesn't having the required, specification or the required functionality that will serve the purpose. So you asked to do the rectification. So that's why. So there you need to understand the need, right? So your engineering design should fulfill some sort of problem you face on your workplace, and you have to demonstrate that one on your introduction and other area what made you go into this one, right? So then we can understand, okay, uh, you will be going on to a structured process and getting into the problem, because initially it's very common. Everybody do a gantry design, right? They don't have any purpose, so they just get a report from somebody else and just remove few pages and give the same thing, right? That is not being accommodated. So we need you to address those things, right? So the second point is need is generally unfulfilled requirement, as I told. So you might have brought, but it doesn't fulfill your requirement. Problem is a difficulty that need to be solved, right? So need is there, so you have to solve that problem. So your design should address those area where we can see that you come from a real genuine case, right? So this is pictorial view of that one. You can see you have a problem, right? Right. So when it comes to problem, Uh, when it comes to problem, you might be having a one node where it's initially your problem is not meeting the speed, right? But then you have to define uh, what why it is not meeting your requirements properly. Yeah. Uh, so So you can see it need to be expand, right? So your problem is there, you need to expand and show it to us, right? So how your problem is affecting, what are the data you had collected? Because you can't just say, okay, my speed is too high. No, you have to do an analysis and show it to us with certain measurements, right? In industry we don't just go there and make a change, right? You have to sometime you have to see what are the speeds available, right? You have to put the no load condition, half load, full load condition. Then you have to take some measurement to see, understand the problem properly. That's why here after the problem it expand, right? So expand, and then once you have the data, you should have uh, you know uh, tools, right? Tools where you can focus upon and define the problem correctly, because you initially seen one aspects of the problem, but you when you study further you will see, okay, there are many aspects of it, right? Out of that one you have to get the correct problem definition. So that's why on the middle the node is again converging, where you understand the problem with data, right? This is where I always tell, right? engineer is a person who understands the nature using mathematics, right? So you require data to get this one, right? So you understand the whatever your problem using data and then convert it to mathematical model to find the solution, right? So that's why we come to the now we had understood the problem properly, and then there can't be only one solution, right? Many reports, they will tell, okay, the solution would be putting another conveyor. Maybe, maybe another change in the motor, change in the wheel, right? You have to see many solutions that can be applied, whether you can apply a variable speed drive, whether you can change the diameter of the two, drive end and driven end, whether you can do any other sort of changes, right? So you have to see different solution, right? So after identifying problem, there should be a section where you define multiple solutions for the problem, right? So after you define the multiple solution, you have to show, right, how you come to your solution. So in most of the cases in industry, I know, okay, you go there, you ask circuit, okay, do this way. You never do analysis, right? So we are trying to teach you here the process, right? So if anyone had been to mechanical engineering design program, you might remember how we go through all these phases and teach you the, designing, arts of design, right? So many people just believe in their self, maybe their gut feeling, they just go into a design, right? But here you do a proper analysis, you identify the problem, you define the problem properly, and then not one solution. You have to find many solution, and out of that many solution, you have to find the correct solution, right? So that's the main part of the initial part of your report. From finding the solution, only your design, right? So there you have to apply your design skill and other things. But we look at these two areas where you find the initial problem, then define the problem properly and finding the solution, right? So, so this is a little bit on need and customer, the same thing I had discussed. So I just skimmed through it, right? So identify needs several ways. So as I told you, so you have to identify the needs in different way. You have to take measurements and all these things. Sometimes you take the productivity and all these measurements you take and identify this one, right? Clarifying the need. So that was there. So these are the basic things I discussed earlier. So as a mechanical engineer, the designer's role, designing is an engineering challenge in creating solution in an iteration process to solve a specific problem or address a particular human need systematically by way of formulating a plan, right? So you can see the sentence itself defined, right? So designing is an engineering challenge. When you have a problem, right? So there should be a, iteration process. So where sometime we had seen some of you gone into the design and seen, okay, you had calculated there's a shaft, right? Finally, the answer is shaft is 3 mm. Can you manufacture 3 mm shaft, right? So the iterations comes there. You have to then go back and see what are the parameters you have to change, right? So might be you're using a very high strength material, right? You might go for a softer material, right? So those things, that's why iteration process is very required, so that you require to come to a, solution uh, after reviewing the answer. Just don't put the answer, right? I will show some of the example for you to understand that one, right? So depending on the primary need or the problem, formulating plan may vary. Engineers need to apply their knowledge with assistance of all possible resources to carry out a detailed design, right? I'm going through this one rigorously because this is a very important area. We see you, right? What is your knowledge, right? So all these things will be reviewed by design, right? Uh, so this is basically a design process. So generally, how you should do a design, right? So that means you have to collect your information and all these need to be done, right? Basically, outcome of design, right? So when you finally finish the design, it can be an invention, it can be a new thing that was not come into the world, right? Truly novel product, right? Innovation, right? So it can be a routine solution, right? It can be a product, right? So there we should be able to see that one because we had seen in many reports in recent, right? You are coming with innovative ideas, new inventions are there, right? I can remember even some of students are here, right? So they come up with a brilliant, solutions to the problem they have, right? So, so that is very important for you to demonstrate that requirement, right? So one of the tools that you can use for designing is a morphological chart. So it's a method of generating ideas and how you can, uh, expand your problem or into a different solution and come into a, final solution. So I will go through few there, right? You can see this is right option 1, 2, 3, right? So you can see vegetable picking device, right? So so there are different requirements you have. You have option, right? So you can see the red triangle, squares, right? Boxes, right? They are it's a one concept, right? So you can have a different concept with different arrangement, right? So this is the way you can generate the concept. You can see possible number of solution are 3,750. Right? So you can create that much of solution through this one, right? So out of that concept, then you have to have okay the second one, right? Then you have to define the function, right? You create the concept 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? From there, right? Then you evaluate against your function, whether it's meeting your required functional needs of the equipment, right? Then finally, you analyze that one. Okay, functionality, because if the functionality is the most important one, you give the maximum marks for the functionality. Then assembly, maintainability, design simplicity, safety, quality, ergonomics. So you can see you can give a different weightages, right? And you can select what would be the best option. You can see here the design concept 3 is having the highest mark, but as a reviewers, we don't mind you going for design concept 1, right? You have to justify, right? Uh, Out of that one, okay, the difference is, very small. Your cost effectiveness on the design concept 1 is better, you can go there, right? But we require logical approach to finding a solution, right? Always, all the final products does not be the, you know, in every aspect the best one, right? So it can be your company might be looking at the financial constraint is the main requirement, right? So there you can see, right, what would be the most cost effective solution, right? So so the functionality it might be little lower, right? But it is cost effective. It is what you can afford, right? So that's why we are telling on this one, this is to have some sort of idea what would be the final outcome, but the selection should be logical, which may suits your company or your process requirement, right? I think I gave a very brief introduction how you can go into the design, right? Then these are the mistakes I would like to see, right? You can see the pump power requirement. how many decimal places? How can you measure that one? Tell me, right? Right. You can see the final answer, power, right? 0.0037, right? Rather than put 3.7 watt, put a 4 watt, right? That's enough, right? So I don't understand this kind of thing, right? So this tells that you haven't even read through your report, right? So this is what I'm showing you, right? So here you can see, right? Uh, 5 plus, the last one, right? 0.004 meters. Why don't you put 4 millimeter, right? You can see the power requirement. All these things, flow rate 0.0018 meter cubes per second, right? You have to understand, right, the units, right? And how you represent the unit, right? When you put these formulas, right? So you can see here the pipe of loss calculation. He had put some numbers, but he has to put the formula first, right? Then we can understand whether he's using the correct formulas. He had straight away going into the head loss, frictional head calculation, putting some answers, right? So these you can see diameter into 4.87. Where this formula? I don't know. I haven't seen this kind of formula. Sometimes people just get from internet and put these formulas without reviewing the proper, uh, engineering channels or going through the correct procedure, right? They just take it from maybe some of, chat GPT or something they give, right? They never review that one, where this formula is coming, which place, and what was the principle behind it, right? So that is very important for you when you are putting your formulas, uh, put the correct formulas, right? So sometimes people just put normal Darcy equation. Those things are for Newtonian fluid, right? Non-Newtonian fluids, you can use it, right? So there you can put a correction factors, right? So there are many ways. So that's why you require to go to a senior engineer and ask, how can I solve this problem, right? I have these issues. So how can I solve that problem, right? So, so then I will go to the engineering drawing. So once you have the design, right? So you need to represent your design in engineering drawing. So engineering drawing is uh, you know, the language of engineers. Basically, drawing is the language of engineer. We should be able to understand what you had been going through the drawing, right? So generally, whether it's Russia, whether it's China, whatever country, when drawing is come, we can understand, right? So we know what is there, right? So that's why we require proper engineering drawing. So on the drawing, we require angle of projection, dimension, units, tolerances, material specification, right? Scale, surface finish, and special notes, right? So what are the consideration you had on that one, right? So drawings are like that. I'm sorry, I think these are not clear, but you can see first you have to give an exploded view of the equipment, right? Then you will be giving a part numbers to each, right? And then you have to give part drawing, right? Then we know, okay, each component had been met, right? So in the part drawing, you give the other information like all the scale, material, and all these things will be given there, right? So that is another important area that many people fail, right? Right. So I could say, if I brief, so in design reports, you basically make mistakes in calculations where you use formula which we haven't seen, right? You try to reinvent, right? Engineering, then the drawings are not proper, right? You don't look at the manufacturing aspects, right? So, for example, the shaft 3 millimeter, how you manufacture that one, right? So, you have to see to that one. Then installation aspect, how you are going to install, right? So, that is very important. How you are going to put the bolt, whether it's whether they have enough space to put a tool, whether they can tighten, whether they can loosen it. So that is very important for you to see that one. It's not just fitting something, right? So we see all these things on your drawing, right? Then the maintenance requirement, right? If there's a bearing, whether they can access it for lubrication and other purposes, inspection, right? So it's very important. Another thing is uh, you need to have engineers estimate, right? This is another area because you should know what kind of cost this one goes there, right? So we used to have this estimate done by engineers, right? So in many projects, the engineers are the people who are doing the initial estimation. Okay, this would be the cost for this kind of project implementation, right? Then right now, the QS has taken some of the part, but still the mechanical engineering, I don't think QS, well, yeah, can't do anything, right? It's- Even MEP areas, it's the same, right? All the engineers are doing, right? So you should be able to make a reasonable judgment on making that component or product, right? How much cost it would take, right? Finally, the references, right? That is very important. That's why I told when you use formula, from where you use, right? All these information should be there. So when it's come to the report assessment, we find those details. So we have to return the report because of non-availability of these information and not going into the details, right? So please see into that part, right? Then career report, right? So I will be showing my one, right? So that you can have little feel about it, right? So, so here you can see, you can Yeah, this is experience report. So you have to put the logo and the front page, right? Then table of content, right? Then list of figures. The formal report part should be there, right? List of tables, right? Then academic qualification, professional qualification, and post-chat experience, right? This is for my fellowship. I did this one, right? So it would be same for you, your one for, pre-chat. Oh, yeah, pre-chat experience. So you have to put from which date to which date you had worked there, right? So all the details, right? So uh, should be there, right? So inclusive dates, so the workplace and your position there. So all these details need to be there. I think our secretariat will give you more detail where you need to give the first assignment letter as a mechanical engineer. So those things are there for the chartered engineers, right? Also, I put overseas experience and training I had got, right? So, demonstration of knowledge, understanding the engineering principles. So these we had been putting so our experience with whatever photos and the project involvement, right? So we give all these data, right? So it is not a very lengthy report, but you should be able to demonstrate adequately your skills on that one, right? So my design part, so I had given all these data, right? So something like that one, right? So this is one of the thing. Yeah. Then CPD records, right? So this is another area people have a lot of okay. Yeah. So you can see there you have 8 categories, right? So it is not just come into IESL and attend into any public lecture or anything, right? You can see what are the categories available, right? First one, attending meeting, talks, lectures, seminars, conferences, right? You should demonstrate, right? You can claim maximum 20 hours out of that one, right? Second one, short courses, right? Maximum 30, right? Uh, uh, Formal, postgraduate and other tertiary level courses, right? You have 20 hours, right? Then fourth, professional activities perform in the course of practicing the profession in regular employment, otherwise requiring certain quantum of study, right? Sometime in your workplace, you have to study certain area. For example, I have to go through the gas turbines, right? So I have to go through the HRSGs, right? So there, if I had to go understand, read and understand that one, you can count those things, right? Don't think that in your workplace the study that you do is wasted, right? It is being stored in your memory, right? So you will be using that one, so you can use that part, right? Contributing to engineering knowledge which direct relevant to industry through the research and dissemin- disseminations, right? So sometime you involve in research, right? So you can put those things, right? Uh, Technical presentation at conferences. So you go to the certain conference and you do it, so you can claim that one, right? Serving on boards, committees, right? So if you are a member of any boards or committees, you can claim, right? So you can see there are 8 different areas, right? You can create CPDs, right? So the mandatory to have minimum 30 hours each year, right? Out of that one, so you can have 30, right? So I think most of us do that one, but we don't uh, realize those are CPDs, right? I will show you one of my one, right? So this is what I prepare and submit every year to IESL, right? So in 2024, this was my one. So I put what is the category, right? How many hours I had used, right? So there you can see, right? Uh, so all the CPDs I had, even the number of hours are higher, only 30 is required. I'm showing I had gained more than 30 hours of CPD exposure. Yeah, right. So that is the requirement you need to do, right? You need to submit. So these are very simple. So I'm trying to, remove your phobia, because people think CPD, it need to be registered at IESL. You need to come here and do a program. No, right? But you should have correct, documentation to prove that part, right? Then, then these are simple things, right? I want to give you, because many people try to do a very complex problem in design, right? So don't go into that one, because we require you to demonstrate your skill, right? So don't, if you can do it, that's good, right? Make it simple as possible, right? But it should be logical reasoning, showing how you had used your knowledge, right? But don't oversimplify. Some people submit 2, 3 pages. So it is, we understand he haven't done enough work on that one, right? So you need to find the balance, right? So that is making things simple, right? Clarity of that, right? So even on your interview or on certain matters, you speak more than you understand, right? Sometimes you try to show, okay, you know everything, but when we are listening, we can understand that you don't understand the concept, right? Uh, so when you understand something, so speak on that area only, right? Don't try to bluff about many areas. So that's the main problem people face, right? Imagination. Don't see things as they are. We see things as we are, right? The air conditioner, I will see different way. Somebody else would see a different way, right? Because I could see whether it's a inverter and many other details. I don't know whether somebody else should see a different matter, right? So this should be very important. So when you are seeing the thing, see with your knowledge, right? So whatever you had gained, so you should have that one, right? The logics can be only a fraction of the reasoning. It can serve as a test to keep us from coming to invalid conclusion, right? So logic should be used for that purpose only, right? Sometimes people try to use the logic to prove the false things a true one, right? So logic should be used. That's why I told. So you should have morphological chart or whatever, so that you don't go into an invalid conclusion, right? So that is very important when you are using logical thinking, that is very important area, right? Skill, right? Crucial step in mental growth are based not simply on acquiring new skills, because you can see everybody try to acquire, okay, chat GPT, AI, all these things, right? Before doing all these things, right? You should know how to use already earned skills, right? So that is very important area, right? So you should practice the skills you learn, right? Many after university they try to go to MBA, many things. I'm not against that one, but you should practice your engineering proper way rather than going for new skill. Show that you are capable of become using the knowledge you had done there, right? Exception. We almost never find rules that have no exception, right? So people think, okay, this is the only way we can do, right? So you can have many ways go around it. That's why the morphological chart is there. So you have to find different way you can do, right? Other thing is common sense, right? People will scold at you. You don't have common sense, right? So you can see common sense is derived from experience and judgment, right? If you don't work in the industry for some time, you don't have a common sense, because that comes from experience. You, after maybe doing some projects and you fail many times, then you have the common sense. Okay, if I put that one, I will burn my hand, right? So that's the important area, right? So that's why I put chat GPT, right? People just ask from ChatGPT. They don't use their common sense and just put a formula and try to, submit a report. So this is very important area. And the other one, as I showed you, right? So you write 12 decimal power kilowatt, right? So those are common sense. You should know how it should be measured and all these things. It's very important. I think that's the end of my the understanding, right? If you understand something in one way, then you scarcely understand it at all, because when you get stuck, you will have nowhere to go, right? Every problem you can understand in many different ways, right? So uh, the problem we face on design class is, okay, people had set their mind, okay, I'm doing the design on this aspect only, right? So they come there only trying to show that part. So we need you to see all the aspect, right? So that's why we want you to understand the problem not in one way, but you can go into the final solution or the things that you think most feasible, but it should be through a logical reasoning, right? I think that's all from my side, right? So, if I tell you, if I go back again, right? So I define who's chartered engineer, what qualities he should have, right? What kind of competencies he should have, right? So then what we expect as IESL in this charter process, your design reports, your career reports, training, logs and CPD works, I think we went one by one, right? So those are not very hard things, right? So if you think it is hard, that was the first step you are taking back, okay, it might have taken maybe 15, 20 years of your life. You are not submitting your chart and staying still as associate member, right? So we need, with your experience, go there, face that challenge and submit so that uh, if you cover those aspects I talked today, right, you will be easily going through your process, right? So now I invite IESL Secretariat teams to give you some exposure on the submission and the different parts, because I haven't gone into the parts. So there are many paths you can go into the charter. The people who don't have the design office in your workplace, they can come to IESL CPD and get the design exposure there and different other routes. So I handed over mic to Sanjeeva so that he will give you brief on that part.
Thank you, Engineer Nagahawatte. Right. Thank you. Here we mainly discuss when you are submitting the documents, what are the documents you have to submit according to the checklist. Uh, First, there's a check. First one is the checklist that you can, once you log on to your profile and under professional review Viva, then you can get it, download the checklist. Then you can find the application form that that is the one you have to fill your personal details, and in the back side of the application form you have to get signatures from the proposers, chartered engineers. That's those who are recommending your application. And then the supporting documents, has the supporting documents, that birth certificate, degree transcript, and then your first appointment letter as the engineer, from starting from the first appointment letter. Then you have to submit the service certificates, including the current and the previous places, that confirming your designation. And if you have done the B paper before 2020, you registered not in the online system. Because of that, at that time we have issued you a result sheet that you have to submit with the application as a proof. If it is registered online, then it is in your MIS profile, it is updated. Therefore, no need to submit another letter confirming the B paper after, if you have done it after 2020. Then you are confirming your implant training. For that, it's a universities, they issue a letter, or otherwise you can submit that your what is that training logbook during your undergraduate period. There's a page that place mention the places you have got your implant training that you can submit. And then the main document is the main document is a logbook, and that is actually prior to 2020. It's a hard copy. Once you apply for the associate membership, IESL issue that hard copy. You can submit hard logbook that is a hard copy maintained by you. If it is after 2020, if you got the associate membership, pass out from the university and get the associate membership, then now in the MIS, it is it's an online logbook. And then the CPD report, as mentioned by Engineer Nagahawatte, that you can categorize what are the CPD courses you have followed, and there you have to mention the hours covered by you, and along with for that you have to submit the proof for those CPD courses. Then the main document is your training and experience report that you have to prepare according to the professional rules. It is mainly that first it should be that number of the word count is mentioned for each part. That you have to in the first you have to mention the summary table that places you have worked from the beginning, and then the detailed report, and then that this Viva is mainly competency-based assessment. No, that 5 core competencies as mentioned by Engineer Nagahawatte. You have to first then you have to elaborate the 5 core competencies. Then after elaborating 5 core competencies, there's a that is also there's a summary table that for the in the mention in the PR rules, there's for each competency you have to give your that according to that summary table you have to put the number that you are that can be evaluate for the easy reference of the evaluators. Then the main document one, and then apart from the training and experience doc, then the main the next main document is your design report. That no, as at the initially once you submit the online application, you don't need to submit the design report because it's that facility is not given in the MIS. Once you submit your first application, then you have to submit other areas. And another one is the IESL event participation report. That is your involvement with IESL. Just whether you are involved with the sectional committee activities and other any other Toastmaster Club or something, any other activities that you just to improve the IESL participate with your active participation, that you have to give another report. Actually, once you then once you submit the application from our side, we whether it's according to the checklist and the guideline. Then the training logbook mainly training logbook is during your career period, starting from your engineering career, you have to maintain the training logbook. There mainly you have to put the problems encountered during the training. All these are mentioned in the PR guidebook clearly. Methods adopted to overcome such problems. Any other notable or significant experience like that, and then it should be updated, provide a systematic, neat, accurate, comprehensive, and detailed record. Then the CPD report that should also be you have to list each activity along with its duration and date. That is actually well explained by Engineer Nagahawatte. The expected CPD for the professional review annually 36 hours per year. That then the recognized in the experience recognized training and responsible experience under recognized in the experience report. Your minimum requirement is 24 months of recognized training. You have to work in a recognized place for a 20 months of recognized training after successfully obtain the required qualification eligible for the associate membership. Under the from this 24 months recognized training, you can claim 6 month maximum 6 month training undertake that prior to your graduation. You can claim, and the other 18 months you can claim from the places you work for the Yeah, that can be claimed. Yes, sir. Then once the recognized training part is completed, then you have to show the where, from where you that's responsible experience part. There are also the minimum requirement is it should be 24 months, not less than 24 months of recognized responsible engineering experience. The, uh, during that period you have to get the guidance from a corporate member of the IESL. If you are not attached to a recognized IESL recognized place, then the that actually you can get the service of a mentor. You can apply get the consent of a mentor so as your mentor, and then your request, and once you forward it to the ISL, we forward it to the professional standard management company. You can get the approval or get the service of a mentor. Yeah. Yeah. In the according to the PR guideline books, that even once you pass out from your beginning of your career, you can search. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Data. Yeah. 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 That actually, ISL that mentor. Yeah. Committee mentor. Even if they can themselves select a mentor, that also that yeah. Yes, yeah. That if anybody can't find a suitable mechanical chartered engineer as a mentor, then they can seek the ISL. Then the ISL from there's a recently also we now circulate among the resource person to serve registered as a mentors and other service resource person from that pool. We can that PSMC can appoint a suitable mentor for you. Then this for those who are in the industry, they have this path, and for those who are in the academic path, they have a separate engineering research and education route. That actually that also given the details in the PR rules, clearly given the details. Then we can go to the next item. Design requirement for the mechanical engineering design. Actually, three options given in the PR rules. One is that the design work at the place of employment. For those, the candidate shall work as an engineer at their place of employment, carrying out design work encompassing theories taught in mechanical engineering under the mentoring of a chartered, either as a direct supervisor or an externally assigned mentor by IESL. That option is given in the as one option. They are under that this requirement. Then the other option is the mechanical engineering design course that's conducted by IESL. That is mechanical engineering design CPD course. That is you all aware. I think that course very much. That this is very much popular among the mechanical engineering engineers now. And the third option is project-based design experience. That is, you can submit mechanical law if it is a manufacturing engineering, and submit a comprehensive project report not less than 6,000 words. And apart from that, there's a comprehensive design project that is CDP path also. that is for the, according to the Annex D of the PR rules, you can get a service of a mechanical chartered engineer. Then under his that he should be a that is computer that mechanical engineering design engineer. Under his guidance, you can submit a design proposal and to the IESL. Then from the once you submit the design proposal, it goes to the committee PSMC, and from there they will appoint a reviewer to review whether it's an acceptable one. Then you can proceed according to the Annex G comprehensive design CDP path for the design to fulfill your design requirement. Then the ones you submit, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's those who are serving as a senior lecturer. That design requirement is exempted from they can submit their PhD thesis instead of the design. That's they're not the design. Yeah. This okay. Yeah. That's yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah, that actually your that's even for the not only for the mechanical academics, that other that then once that previously mentioned all the your experience report, design report, then other supporting documents, CPD report, logbook. Once you submit all these documents, then from the secretariat side, we check with the checklist whether all these are prepared accordingly. Then you can make the payment, and once you done the payment, then the system generated notification goes to your proposers. From their side, they can give their the comprehensive report on their knowledge, what they can recommend you. Once we receive those recommendation, then we forward it to the eligibility committee. That's a panel, and the committee. That committee will assess your application whether you have enough that you have fulfilled all the requirement as per the professional rules with training, your recognized training responsibilities with the PR rules. Then once they recommend for the interview Viva, then from the IESL they appoint an interview panel. Then from the interview panel they assess your Viva according to the competency assessment, and they check on your design knowledge and other areas. After the Viva, then you all have to sit the written paper that is called paper A. Normally it includes 2 questions. From the paper A, they assess the candidate's ability to clearly express matters related to their professional experience in writing, and that is the Viva part. Your Viva and the written paper will be conducted in the same day. Apart from this part, then the other exam is the B paper. That is a common for civil, electrical, mechanical, all candidates. That's it's mentioned by engineer Nagahawatte as earlier that you can sit prior to the submitting your experience report, or even some candidates they sit after the completing the Viva process. That oral examination during the Viva process, normally it's consisting of two corporate members in from your field, and mainly this check your 5 core knowledge on your 5 core competencies, then your experience, design and training. Those areas will be assessed in this oral examination. and then that's that one. That is this is the mainly main areas
I would like to brief few things so you can see. So checklist is a one paper, only a single paper, right? Those are not reports, right? Sometimes you understand it as a report, right? You will fill application form. It's about 2 pages, right? Birth certificate, degree certificate. Can you go down? Appointment letters. Yeah, you can see IESL event participation. It's a one-page document, right? So those are not reports, right? So don't get afraid of that one, right? So design report is the only comprehensive one. Then experience report, we ask you to concise it to 2000 word, 2000 to 3000, if I can remember, somewhere around that, right? So if you write more than that, that means you are not being able to communicate your experience in a way that is convenient to others, right? So sometimes we return the report asking you to limit your words, right? Many reviewers do that one. Don't write like 10,000, 12,000, right? We don't have time to read that one. So it also reflect that you are not being able to concise your work and your experience and give that one, right? So you need to limit that one rather than writing a very lengthy. Many reports you try to put all the catalogs, right? You try to put all the equipment, some details, or maybe some company profiles and all these things you are trying to put. Don't write that one, right? So make it very, simple as possible. So that is very important thing that you have to. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's what as Engineer Parakrama said. So that is the communication. Now, you should be able to effectively communicate to others, right? So that we check, right? So don't take this one. These are very single page, sometime 2 page document. The training logbook, I need to add that one as per the PR rules. For engineers passed out before 2020, you can follow the old hard copy book, right? After 2020 only, it's a logbook. We will try to get a clarification on that one and further clarify you rather than going on to the, online platform, because I know some of the mechanical engineers are like 20 years after graduation, right? So if they try to write all the logs, right? It's a pain for them also and pain for us. They nominate us as a reviewer, right? So we have to go like every week. Right? I can remember many I had gone, right? You have to go like 500 entries and see, right? It's very difficult, right? So so try to summarize those areas. The uh, earlier, your experience, try to summarize maybe 6 months, 1 year, something like that. Because as per the PR rule, you have to show only 24 months. Huh? So, sorry, 48 months. So 4 years, right? So there, if you can concentrate those one and others, you can write in a like a summary form, right? So that is for the people who had waited more than 10, 15 years. But for the young engineers, you should start writing your logs like weekly or as per the frequency that was given. So you should be getting those things, certified by your senior, right? So that is very important for the junior team to do that one. So at the end of your like 5 years, you don't have to write a logbook, right? So you had completed your work, right? This is for the other people. So and other thing I wanted to clarify is you had the A paper and B paper. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Basically, for IESL based one, there's a certificate, sir, right? Other thing is, right, if he had attended to anything, so his employer can recognize, you can give, or he can give some sort of a proof that he had attended to that. And many programs, they give some sort of, at least registration, even online program, they are giving that one, right? So if not, if somebody is there who can certify that you had attended to that program, that is enough, right? So here you can see A paper and B paper, right? B paper come first, right? Right. So you have to understand, you submit the B paper first, then A paper would come when you go to the Viva, right? So uh, we ask you to present your, career report and things like that, maybe design report you are presenting. From that one, we give 2 questions, right? Not we are giving from space or something, right? So we give based on what you present, right? Nothing else, right? So it is to check your, because all other things, you can get hired somebody and do a report, right? There you have to write your report, write the answers in front of us to see whether your communication ability is enough, so uh, you are able to communicate within effective time frame, right? So that is what we are doing. So even the A paper come first, it's come at the last, at the, chart. Generally, uh, it's an indication. If you don't pass the Viva, you don't get A paper, right? Right. So if you pass the Viva, they will ask you to sit for the A paper and answer the 2 questions, right? So even Viva, I think I wanted to give it to Engineer Parakrama. Our sir, he had been serving for mechanical engineers many years. He know the problem in Viva, right?
Before I go into that, I want to touch upon this business of the training, recognized training. Where are we now? Is there indication we can give, number of places that are approved, and we don't have a place like that? How do we set about it? Is there? Can you? Our times, there are only 6 places. You see, so you didn't have much of a choice, but we recognize that is not true. And the numbers are much more longer. Yeah. Yeah, supposing you are not in any of those places. Yeah, you have to be sure, because that's the problem many of people will have. Yeah, now when you say recognize somebody that we are recognized, put on register. But other things, how do we classify them? What do you expect? Yes. Just period will be going. So, but then even non-recognized places, you must have some record of that. Yes. Yeah, right. Basically, what you are saying, if you have not been able to go get training at the recognized place, your period will extend from 4 years to 8 years. But even during that time, you should have had a mentor or a. I hope that is understood. This is something that will face a lot of you. Right? So unfortunately, we try to get this number increase a lot, but then we don't have much of support from those places also to apply and get kept registered. Anyway, those are practical problems. But the whole idea of the exercise is to make sure that you reach that competency. 5 competence basically, it's although you are limited to just 5, that doesn't tell the whole story. So I would like to start by saying it. What do you mean by a chartered engineer? What does IESL explain? Do you see, as those days, Professor Yoi used to say, when you pass out from a university, you have a degree of knowledge. It doesn't say that you have got a degree. You have a degree of knowledge. You are just starting. Unfortunately, we think that when you are graduated, you are, yeah, I'm fully, you are not very definite. For you to be considered as an engineer, that you can safely unload on the society, you have to be started. That is the responsibility of IESL. What IESL doing is you are being a certificate or to the people, this fellow is good enough. He is competent enough to serve you. Now, yesterday I was here at the water forum. This responsible to engineer. Our primary responsibility is to the society. So whatever we do, we have to establish that you are responsible to society. Unlike a good example, you're saying, okay, you take a doctor might treat 1, 2 people or what it is. It's responsibility mainly to those people, those few. When we do things, particularly at larger projects for research, if a dam breaks, that means you are killing so many people that we have done this thing. Not even you don't have to break because somebody is not competent. This Ditwa is a very good example of lack of that responsibility to society by engineers, nobody else. Right? That's a very bad reflection on the whole engineering profession. We can say that we are mechanical engineers, we are not involved in that, not so, right? So anyway, what I want to say is primary requirement for you to serve the society, you have to understand, you must appreciate, you have a big responsibility to society. Everything else is secondary, primary responsibility. But our responsibility, IESL, how can we safely say that we believe that this person has that ability, competence, and the mental, these things, and that's what we mean by BPF. Ethics and all that is to make sure that you do appreciate and accept that responsibility. You see, unless we are certain of that one, we should not be given charge. Right? I don't know to what extent we do really put enough weightage on that. But giving what the IESL does, we as engineers on our own, we must accept that responsibility. But be very, very careful about that. But please keep that in mind. Now, what we try to do is, we are talking about so many papers and reports and all that. All that is you are trying to tell us that you have reached those 5 competencies. You see that I say that just 5 is just limited to 5, but that doesn't mean there's a big story behind it. The story is actually we are sort of made them summarized down to those 5 these things just to be able to be practical, to assess. We can't have 20 these things and all that assess it. That's why we have tried to narrow it down to that. But within each of those competencies is a big story, right? Now, how well do you make us understand that you have reached that competence? That's what we try to do at the Viva. Although you have in pages and pages of that. And we have some things we can tick off and say that you have reached that point. That's what we do at the secretariat before you call for the Viva. You can do that one. Having said that one, after all, what we have written as your KV log, so your experience report and all that must finally make sure that those things are adequate proof that somebody reading that will understand you have done that. So let me say this time and age, you can cook that. You see, you can go to ChatGPT or some other these things and get very nice reports that. You see. So that is why Viva is doing that. If we can say that everybody is totally honest and those, then you don't have to have a Viva. You accept what you have written and give us a report. So we only step and do somebody reads and pass it and find you are okay. Unfortunately, that's not so. I don't say that because of dishonesty or something like that. Somebody trying to do a dodge and go through. They're not necessarily. It is again comes back to how do you communicate? How do you communicate inside goes in different stages. There's a technical communication. That's what we talk about in design. Drawing is a way of communicating. That drawing that we have tried to to push so hard on our students. The drawing should be totally detailed so that once it goes, wherever it goes. My usual, this thing I said, it can go to Timbuktu and somebody can manufacture that one without having to give you a call. You see, but so that must be that detailed enough. That's what Ruwan mentioned about the degree of detail coming in. You have to make sure that's a communication. Mechanical engineers, particularly, your language is the drawing. That's one of the competencies. You see, otherwise, no, okay, again, that's what Ruwan mentioned. You don't have to have pages and pages to tell somebody else what you mean. There's somebody, I can't remember who said Oscar Wilde or something. I need a long time if I write a short paper. In summary, if I write it, I will need a long time. That's very true. You try doing that. I experienced that. I try to write papers, to do newspaper articles. I end up being very long. Then they go to a library, can't publish all of them. How do you make sure that you still get your message across in 1,000 words or 1,500 words? Very difficult task, right? Now, that is one of the things we have as a skill we must have. All our knowledge is useless unless you can communicate. Yeah, we don't do anything on our own. We have to communicate different levels. You have to communicate to the person who is going to make it. You want to communicate to your boss so that he will understand it, he will give you the money to do the job. You have to make sure that whatever product you use is accepted by the market or the public. So that again, how do you show that? But that's maybe in your drawings or maybe in your description or this thing, how you do a flyer, want to sell something. That's also communication. Sometimes, of course, we use other people like marketeers to do that. But primarily, nobody else can sell anything unless we have designed it and built it. You see, 99.9% of whatever is there, somewhere along the way, an engineer would have been there. Most of the time, it will be if it's an artifact, unlike a building or something, that will be a mechanical engineer. Right? In Sri Lanka, particularly, mechanical engineers have not appreciated the role that we are playing. That is why we don't have enough chartered engineers. We are not people, we are not valued ourselves as mechanical engineers. We should do that. And IESL in present day times, the role of the mechanical engineer is totally different. And also, from the times that I graduated and all that, things have totally changed. The times of, gear wheels and wheel-belts are gone. Now we have to have much more broader and more professional. There's nothing we can do entirely on our own. We talk about mechatronics and we talk about machine learning, all that. It's not going to that extent even, unless we have a electrical component also. And how do you know how does a motor run? That part is also there. Otherwise, we have a component we don't complete. There's no use for us. Not a complete design. One went on that. All these are part of those competencies at all. So the role of the interviewer is to primarily check. You have proven your competencies in what you have written down. But like I said, not because of your intentional attempt to deceive this thing, but then you are not being quite sort of quite capable of having passed that test. So we try to tap into and say that whether you really do mean what we have said, then you will have demonstrated that completely. Sometimes some of those can be tested out in a few words. Although you have got pages and pages of it. So what happens is, when you come to the interview, you will be asked questions based on what you have submitted. We will not ask you something entirely different. Very often that happens. That happens. So that's why one more reason why you should not do long ones. Then you can remember. If you write it shortly, you remember. You write 20 pages, you don't know what the hell you are in. So you'll fall flat on your face. Right? So it's a very difficult task for us, just 45 minutes, 1 hour or something, you get bored, keep it too long. And then you might also feel annoyed that this fellow is asking me things I know, all that. Yeah, I was interesting. Unfortunately, we have to ask those questions and satisfy ourselves because we as sort of officers of the IESL, we are taking that responsibility on behalf of the society. We are giving you a certificate of competence. That's what the charter means. So otherwise, we are at fault for unloading somebody who is not competent on the society who can do a lot of damage. I don't say you do that intentionally, but you could do that unintentionally. So because you are not being trained yourself and had appreciated the requirement that whatever you do always has a. Nowadays, a lot of people talk about Indo. We have done that one many in the past so many times. What we do is totally unacceptable from the environmental point of view. If it is consuming too much energy, that's definitely an impact on the environment because all this time we have been using fossil fuel. And we would have been just burning fossil fuel for unnecessarily because we are not taken the trouble to make sure that what you design is not efficient enough, or you are not used the optimal. You see, that morphological chart is a good example of it. You see, and I must tell you, I learned so much from the design course by teaching, or at least listening to what these people say. You see, there's so much. That is very valuable. So that way, in fact, we tried very hard to do that design course because to overcome one of the major problems, because as time went on, number of places where you are working does not necessarily have that capacity to do that. So that's why we have provided different ways of doing it. So, and the design course is one way of doing it. Unfortunately, our people still don't make use of it. The amount of time and effort spent by the resource persons is enormous. You see, we still don't see value coming up with it because you don't see, we are not doing it just for you to get the charter. We are doing it, make sure that you are competent designers, so to advance your own career. That is the only reason we are doing it. You're getting a charter or not is secondary. But what I'm coming back to is, during that 45 minutes of interview, you have to make sure those competence, your record you do have, otherwise you wouldn't have come to that point. You are claimed based on your documentation, you say you have that, claim that, and we are trying to test that time. Now, A paper is in a way, will go a little beyond that. You see what we are saying that you have demonstrated you have the engineering science, the knowledge, and much more important, your ability to use that knowledge in practical sense to solve a problem. Right? Engineering design practically way of solving the problem. What we have gone on and on tell the people is understand the problem. Unless you properly understand the problem and being able to convert into engineering terms to find a solution, you will fail in your design. You can't do a design unless, you see, 99% of the time, if you understand the problem, solution is already there. That's the type of thing. But that is not necessarily on doing this design. That is applicable in your workplace. You come across problems all the time. So you must understand what they said. Without having to go to a big design or something, you will find the root cause and solve it immediately. That competence is what is required. That is what you unfortunately don't have when you graduate. So we haven't got the chance to do that. So some slim opportunity you have is during the in-plant training. But how many of us make use of that one to the level? Unfortunately, not adequate. Remember, that is also now we are allowing you that 6 months to be taken as training, recognized training. So we make use of it and log it. And also we will look at that log and ask, okay, what did you learn? Now I remember when some people say I worked at the refinery for 3 months. And you ask, I am not a what you call petroleum engineer or anything like that. I have a very cursory knowledge. But you ask a very basic question. Having spent 3 months there, if they don't answer that one, something wrong, no? That is the problem. Now, unfortunately, we are talking to you, all who have passed that stage. But that must apply for the people in the university. That is why I should have made sure that I said I totally object to they are getting a charter without doing the design. There should be put more pressure on them to do the design than anybody else outside. Because they are supposed to teach the people outside. But anyway, that's beside the point. We will see what we can do about it. But as far as you are concerned, I think all of you have now many years of experience on it. So you have a little bit of a problem not having documented all what we have wanted during the early years. So that is something Sanjeeva will have to be conscious of. Start now, at least. Start now. Some of these things you might remember, you can start doing, start documenting. Unfortunately, we depend on those documents to communicate to us that you have done that. Based on that one, it will be called for a Viva. Unless you can reach that point, IESL Secretariat can't say that you can go for the next stage. So start documenting, right? But primarily, since to talk about the Viva process, that is what we do at the Viva. All questions we ask will be, of course, you say, how are you coming from, what are you doing, how is it family? You have a sort of ice-breaking, these things like that. But primarily, we try to get to reach you, yeah, you have been doing, what have you been doing. Now, we can't be expected to know all about what you have done, because you are in different cases like that. But having said that, wherever you did work, as long as they can be related things, we can sort of, there's a common ground for all of us, no? Whether I work in the port or whether I work in the steel corporation or whatever it is, there are certain commonalities. Even if you have worked in the labor department, right? Still you have to work, we are going to inspect factories and all that sort of thing. That common these things is what we can consider. That is what we would like to see in what you have written in the report, and we will pick things in that one, see whether you have what you have written is with understanding of what you are doing, right? So although you say I did this and I did that one and get somebody to sign it and all that sort of thing, still doesn't mean that you have really acquired. We try to suss out during that short period whether you, what you say is really gone into you. It must be sort of inbred to you. It's not a case of just writing a paper and then forgetting about it. Your career must demonstrate that you are doing. That's very difficult task for assess, but it's a responsibility that you must accept for yourself. If I'm applying for the charter, this is what I am expected to demonstrate, and therefore that my life career after that one must be guided by those things. Basically, having got marks for those 5 competitions or getting a charter is not the end of it. That's the beginning of it. After that one, you must always see every time that you do something, am I working according to that? According to the ethics, I said my responsibility for that. So that is what we try to do. So, well, you might consider Viva is also yet another barrier to pass. Yes, it is. But that barrier, how high or how low, depends on you. If you come, I mean, in 10 minutes, we'll assess whether you know what you're talking about, whether we have managed some other, write pages and pages of things trying to woodbring IESL to get past. You see, don't try to do that one. That's it, deceive yourself. The whole idea of doing it is to make sure that you are competent and you on your own have the self-confidence to say that, no, I am doing it because I know what I'm talking about, right? Although you might say these are very lot of rules and regulations conduit different paths, you are trying to block me. That's not the so. This unfortunately, we have to go through that process to make sure you give us the confidence that we can very happily say there is a charter. That's the charter of the institution. Our charter as an institution is to be able to, we are trusted as the apex engineering body in the country, and what we say is accepted. And non-technical people, administrators, politicians, everybody accept what we say is not said lightly, we say that one with responsibility, and we don't take that responsibility lightly. And now, in doing so, we have to do that. Yes. Council is not there. And you have to. All the members have the responsibility to make sure you represent the IESL too. But having said all that, one primary requirement is you are responsible to society. All these efforts is to make sure that you understand that one and that you will use it in the future, not just for chat and forget about it, but in the future. So, always coming back to the Viva. Come very with a light distance. We are not trying to, put you in difficulties or don't worry about talking in signal. Unnecessary. But we insist we are writing papers in English. This is not a case of either you can write Shakespearean English. It's not so. Basic English, we have in Sri Lanka, if you can't do, having gone through this and having graduated university, you can't write proper English. Proper English is not difficult, long, in-depth thing, but simple sentences. Unfortunately, people, don't do that. But regrettably, it's a skill we must accept because that one again, if you're not having English, will narrow your knowledge base. How do you go to internet and get anything if you don't know what English is? So like Ruwan said, Viva is not to test your English. But unless your English good enough, you will not pass that because you will not communicate. So you understand that. So that's right. So at the interview also, writing in English, okay, you sit down and write it, but you must have sub-quality unless you don't use English. So don't worry about it. Yeah, very comfortable talking. Unfortunately, I can't talk Tamil yet. Trying hard, but basically no problem for any of the interviewers. So that's not an issue. And it's also a sign of your confidence of yourself, saying that, no, I would like to talk in Sinhala. Right? If you feel that you can't communicate adequately in English, do it in Sinhala. That's all right. You can say that. Right? So remember that one. So do not come thinking you are going to guillotine එකට යනවා හිතාගෙන යන්න එපා. Come very loose, sort of with a happy mind and saying that, okay, now I am telling you, fellows, you fellows will ask, learn from me. In real so. Like I said, we are not being, we learn a lot from you when you come and say, no, I did this kind of thing for this reason. This is how I evaluated the problem. This is how I found my solution. This is something that I remember because I can use that knowledge in the future. We like to see that kind of communication come. Right? So, coming back, saying it all over again, interview is based on what you write. What we have written, what we have submitted. You will always into that. Yeah? And also, yeah, that's okay. We also have some knowledge. Knowledge එකක් තියෙනවා අවුරුදු ගාණක් කොණ්ඩ බෑනකම් කරලා මොනවාරි එකක් මේක ඇතුළේ ඉතින් තියෙනවා. ඒකින්ද බොරුවක් කිව්වොත් අපිට දන්නවා. Don't take that chance. Don't try to deceive. If you don't know, you say, no, I don't know. That you say, no, I was not involved in that kind of, but my concern have been more on this. You can't be expected to know everything. Not necessary. But what you know well. That is the competence that we want. And also one of the most important we are talking about engineering is we have learned 4 years of engineering. That is engineering science. But engineering is not what you learn from there. It's what you can apply, right? To practical problem solutions. Solutions are not ours. Solutions are society's problem. Our role is to solve society's problem. We have a job and we get paid for it, but our primary responsibility is problem solving. And problems come more and more every time. When the humanity advances, the problems also advance at a rate. And I always say that this thing, best, but the price you get is a great satisfaction. I have understood the problem and found a solution. If you can say that one, you will feel very, very happy, irrespective of what your design was got built or anything like that. Whether somebody recognize it or whether you got a chart or something. More than that, main satisfaction is you are saying, no, I got managed to do that. I have proven that what I learned is of use, and I have been applied for a practical solution. You see, that. In fact, that is the message we like to receive from you in your company interview, right? Now, I would like to leave room for you to ask questions, about the problems you are facing.
Before we go to the question and answer session, I would like to mention two things, right? One, we are trying to keep 2 copies of design report and career reports at library so that you can refer, right? So it is a sample reports, right? So we will try to get good design reports and 2 career reports for you to have refer only, right? So don't try to copy, it would be your own thing, right? So it would be for the purpose of reading that one. And other thing is, if you don't have support of a chartered engineer, try to reach mechanical engineering sectional committee, secretary or the chairman, right? We have enough people to support you. If not, you can reach IESL, Professional Standard Management Committee, where they will appoint. And other thing is, for the charter interview, IESL appoint the engineers who are more closely worked in the area you had applied for, right? It is not that somebody they are pointing totally alien to that one, right? So they will have certain knowledge, right? We come in a mindset, I want to pass you, right? It's up to you. So you now understood what are the competencies you need to demonstrate. So when you are talking, try to address those competencies. That is most important thing, right? Don't talk here and there, which is not relevant. So you have to see that we are going through criteria in our mind. Okay, one by one, we are getting to those competencies through question, right? The first one we might talk about yourself, right? It is to relieve your nerves, right? Because everybody will have nerves when they are going for an interview, right? It is to make you comfortable, right? So think that way, right? So I think we had given all the possibilities, we had given all the way of writing, right? We will be giving you some sample reports to review, and also chartered engineers for you to, uh, request and get the mentorship or whatever advices you require on charter, right? You can see for maybe last 3 years, the mechanical engineer applied and how many failed, right? You see that statistics, you will see, right? We had been always trying to get the mechanical engineers coming up the ladder and going through this process and getting this one. So Parakrama sir, PSL Kalboy sir, and all these engineers, they are doing tireless job over the years. Every year we conduct design class for more than 50 people, right? So we support them. Nobody, they don't understand the amount of time we spend. Sometimes same report we go through 6 or 7 times, but we never fail them. We give them, okay, do this correction, get this one done, right? It is very easy for you to do a small correction, but we have to read it again and again and again, right? So see those commitment also and appreciate those senior engineers' commitment there. So I think we should not go for very large number of questions. We can have, I think, maximum 5 questions, right? Okay.
My question is related to experience. So I had some experience overseas, but giving some evidence is now is a bit of a problem. For example, I worked in a Boltide Limited in UK for 2 years, and actually that company is sold to a different company, and total management is not there now. So I have some proof of the work, design work that I have done and some of the testing and everything I have done. But I have seen in the requirements, there are some evidence, for example, appointment letter and these type of things and logbooks and everything. So how can I manage that type of situations?
Ruwan, I can say this, right? I know that you have more than enough experience. Even you skip that one, you can go meet the requirement, right? So, but I hard to believe it's like you went to UK, right? So you went on some invitation, no? So there should be right, there should be some sort of a documentation that you were appointed there.
Actually, it's post study work. We studied masters. Okay, and got a job in design. Yes, sir. Actually, I checked. I somehow I misplaced that one. Already, I'm sure they have given to me with the appointment letter. They have given to me with the proper appointment letter and monthly salary. And, so that is a problem.
Yeah, because it's a needle in your experience. I know how much experience you carry, right? So that you have a lot of experience, right? So certain things, so right now what I see is many people look at very nooks and corners, smaller things and stop in that one, right? Okay. See, because as a IESL, they have to review, right? If you don't have any proof, they can't just trust your word, no, right? Then it will be a practice, right? So they need some sort of, right? So you can't manage. So there are many other ways. I know many engineers have more experience than they require to become a chartered engineer. Any questions? Yeah.
So my question is, if we need to get four of the signatures or consent from for confirmation, confirming persons from the IESL, right? So after getting their details and everything, do they need to do any confirmation via email or something about us?
Basically, there's a confidential report, right? So when you select us, right? So on the computer, when you try to lodge your application, they are asking you to select for mechanical chartered. Please remember, should be all mechanical engineers, right? You can put the numbers, then all the details will come who are the engineer, right? Like that, right? We will get an email from IESL. This person had selected you as one of the proposers. Please provide you a confidential report, right? So we will fill that one and it will go to IESL. So it will be a confidential report. It will be asking about your, our experience with you, how we know you, right? And how we know your knowledge and your, uh, application of engineering in the work and similar to those competencies that confidential report asks our experience working with you, right? So we try to honestly answer that one, right? So uh, those requirements are there. So try to select engineer who had closely worked with you rather than selecting a very unknown person because it will be very difficult for that person to, write on behalf of you, right? I was the person who actually changed this one to 4 mechanical engineer because initially only 2 mechanical engineers, then some civil engineers are coming. How can they tell that you had competently used your theoretical knowledge? They don't know mechanical knowledge, right? That's why we changed this one to 4 mechanical engineers, right? So I think in your careers you had come across many engineers, right? So even association in IESL and many things, we have some sort of connection, right? Try to go through those connections. Right? Basically,
So we would all say that Viva is to make sure whether you are achieved those 5 completed. Now, how do we make sure that one? For that one, also we have to go back to what we are claimed. You are saying that because you are supposed to, if you are report also, you are saying each competency, how do you prove that you are reached that? So we naturally look at those things, right? That doesn't mean that we will limit it to that.
Yeah.
Just ask some
Yes,
questions.
in my case, I passed the B paper and design CPD also passed, and more than 10 years experience in the government sector, working under the chartered mechanical engineer. I think that's enough for that's
Yes. Have you applied for that?
it did not apply.
අර කතාවක් තියෙනවානේ අර වර්ෂේ කියලා හැමදාම දෙයියට දාව තියෙන අරමයා තියෙනවා නේද මම දැන් සරුත් නැහැ කියලා දවසක් දැක්ෂි කියලා යකෝ සීට් ටිකට් එකක් අරගනින් කියලා අරගන්නකොට
I had been following him for 3 years, right? So to submit the charter, right? So he is, so it is up to you, right? It's like we can't write your report, right? So we can guide you, right? You all know for last 3 years, myself, Parakrama sir, and many, right? There are about 6 engineers, right? We had been supporting 150 mechanical, right, in design program, right? So we were giving all the exposure. Even this one, I don't have to put my time, right? Because you can see this is, if to be a chartered engineer, you should be able to read that one and do it, right? So we are going step ahead, right? And supporting you, right? Even now, we are putting ourselves in front and telling, okay, we are ready to support you, right? Because we believe as a mechanical engineers and as a engineers, we have a duty to our society and our profession, right? That's why we wanted to get this one going. So please use that one and be qualified as quick as possible. I know many people have more than 10 years, 15 years of experience. Right.
Accept, sir.
Go ahead.
Accept, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sir, I'm a research engineer working at the Air Force.
Okay.
And, sorry, sir, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you. We can
Thanks,
hear
sir. I'm having this problem. I have already completed the B paper, and it has now been about 2.5 years. And for
Okay.
my associate membership, it's almost 4 years now. So I'm quite struggling for finding a suitable mentor because of my discipline is mechatronics. So now I'm considering about the mechanical discipline.
Yeah, there's no restriction. So I think mechanical engineering is the most diverse field, right? So we accommodate aeronautical engineers, we accommodate marine engineers, we accommodate automobile engineers, we accommodate mechatronics engineers, we accommodate production engineers. So many are under our baskets, right? So there's no issue. So there are enough people who are working on the mechatronics area, right? So even mechanical engineers, they have to always go through all these mechatronics, right? So even ourselves always go through that one. We can guide you, we can support you. So you best thing is if you need somebody to get to know, so try to connect with mechanical engineering sectional committee chairman or secretary. Yeah, we will have almost 150 engineers who are experienced in various fields, right? So we can support you with a mentor.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Any question from online?
Sir,
Yeah.
Yes, Abdul, go ahead.
can I asking the question to the I want to asking I want to discuss about the basic in the IESL. Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sir. Actually, sir, I am doing the degree program, Bachelor of Engineering Technology in Mechatronics Technology at the University of Vocational Technology. Sir,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, sir. Shall we get the IESL membership to that?
Yeah. Basically, you are talking about becoming an associate engineer, not a chartered engineer, right? So for that one, we have eligibility criteria, right?
Yeah.
So there we have different eligibility criteria, right? Can
So, sir.
yeah. Yeah. So best thing is even there are students who had done diploma and other things, so they can do a top-up program. They will go for another engineering or in open university or something, and they can become associate engineer, right? In IESL, we haven't blocked the ladder of becoming engineer at any time, but only thing is, if you are a technologist, right, there are additional skills you have to gain, right? So those things you have to get it right. Best thing is communicate to IESL secretariat. Yes, Sanjeev and our deputy executive secretaries are there, so they will be able to guide you on that one, right? This basically we are looking at promoting our associate engineers to chartered engineer. I think I gave you some sort of direction for you to go ahead, right?
Yes, sir. Yes. Actually, sir, I want to discuss in another one of things, sir.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, sir. I'm in working in the railway department.
Okay.
And also, sir, I want to get the more knowledge in because I want to I want to research about that the accident avoid to the last 6 month or 7 month before, sir. This elephant accident so there. So I am starting the research and I am starting the some proposal. To can you support me, sir, about that this project?
Yeah, there are many engineers in railway who involved in this one, right? I know Asela Patiratna and many senior engineers are there, right? So this is collision avoiding systems and many other systems are there in place. So we will be able to support you. So please reach us so we can guide you.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any more questions?
Yes, sir.
No, sir.
Hello.
Thank you, sir.
Uh,
Have a nice day.
yeah, good evening, sir. So, I did my bachelor's in mechanical engineering at University of Morto, and I'm currently working as automation engineer, mostly automation related work. What is is it possible to take the chartered engineer in mechanical, or it is better to get the charter from mechatronics or similar field?
Yeah, basically, I could say because automation, you need to drive a mechanical system, right? So
Yes, sir.
basically, that is there. So without knowing the mechanical part, you can't design the automation part, no, right? So
Yeah,
you have
yes, sir.
knowledge, you have to get the confidence in yourself, right? So please reach us so we will review you. I think none of us has done pure mechanical thing in our reports, right? There are many electrical part associated with, automation part associated with. So there's no problem. We see you applying for charter under mechanical.
There is no separate charter for mechatronics. So it will, what we are giving you as mechanical engineering charter, and what we are doing is very much in line with what is the requirement. You listen to all the requirements that we are listed out. So
Yeah.
make note of it, and also in your career, I think you are fairly early in your career. Start making sure that you keep those records, logbooks and all those things, so that in 4 years' time you are quite ready. Unlike some of my senior colleagues here, who may not have kept those records. You see, so you know what the records you have to keep. Start recording those things so that come 4 years you will be very ready to apply for the charter and we succeed in it. Understand?
Yes, sir. I got it. Thank you very much.
Any more questions?
Yes, sir. I am Adhavan. I passed out in 2015 from University of Moratuwa. Actually, I work in abroad in Singapore for 4 years and another 3 years work, but this company is not recognized by IESL. So in this case, how I fulfill the experience to maintain the logbook? So who will endorse?
Yeah. It is, you have to tell us, because you won't be working independently. No, there should be in Singapore, even under Singapore, we know there are very strict codes of engineering are there, right? So there are seniors you will be reporting. So they are the people who should be, supporting your experience, right? And whatever the knowledge you gain, right? So that part is, but generally, we review that part, right? So best thing is to get that on. But I could say when you work abroad, if it is not recognized, so it is not straightforward as you work on a recognized place, right? So we have to see how much it related to the mechanical engineering. So there's a criteria IESL look at it. So you contact IESL team on that one, Vijit and our Sanjeeva. So they will guide you how to get your documentation and whatever requirements submitted correctly.
Okay, sir. Thank you. But I have a 4 year experience, last 4 year experience in water board since 2021. So is it okay to consider for this started process?
Yeah, that is okay. Yeah. That's what we are telling always, right? You are worrying about the past. You have 4 years in recognized place, and you are working under chartered mechanical engineer. If he can certify that you have adequate competencies, so that is more than it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So now, this is not limited to this session. If you have any other questions, you can always communicate with us. We'll help you. But the longest journey starts with just one step. So unless you take that first step, you will not get anywhere. So you'll have to go home today and see how much of the things that we wanted you to record, how much of it is already available with you, and you can satisfactorily record those things. That is your starting point. Then, of course, you start recording anything you think is not adequate, then you have to acquire that. For that one, you'll have to start recording it from now onwards. But make up your mind, no, I want to go this journey. So let me start. So unless you start, you won't get it.
If anyone wants the presentation we had done today, so you can get it through IESL. So I will give it to Sanjeev or anybody. So if it is provide you guidance, please contact IESL, right? So we will make it available, right? Now it's 7:30. I think we need to wind up the session, right? So, but anyway, we are reachable, right? So always many mechanical engineers are there to support you. right? So please contact each others, keep the community intact. So we would be supporting every associate engineer to get the necessary qualifications, right? Thank you.